My name is Matt Christian. I was the district technician at Richland Soil and Water for 17 years. I was here from 2000 to 2017. When I first started here, I was a district technician, mostly an agricultural technician. So I worked with a lot of the farmers in the county with practices to help with conservation, erosion, manure storage, things of those nature. Would work with the farmer and work with the NRCS specs and standards to develop these projects that could be built on their farms and then also because there was cost share available, they had to work with those specs and standards. So I was the person that went out, spoke with them, gathered information, take surveys, and take that survey data back and come up with engineering plans to build these practices. And we did a lot of, like I said, manure storage. A big one that I worked a lot with were grassed waterways in the county, and so I don't even know how many I've designed and watch built, but quite a few throughout the county. Responsibilities, I worked with landowners on drainage issues, with questions relating to ponds. If people wanted to build ponds, I would give them advice or go to their property and if it looked like a site suitable for a pond, and worked with other programs to develop filter strips and things like that in the county. Around 2008 or so, we had some changes in the office. We lost a lot of staff, and then at that point I started to do more of the urban technician duties. So I kind of switched from agricultural to urban. I did both for a while, but then largely switched over doing urban technician duties. So at that point I was more of an urban technician and started running the stormwater permit program for the county. So from 2008 till 2017, I was an urban technician. And what got me interested in soil and water is I never really knew about soil and water. When I went to college, I did a couple years at Ashland University and then transferred away, and I wanted to get some kind of job that had like an environmental related job, that I could do something that would help the environment. And I found out about Worcester ATI, which is a branch of Ohio State, and they offered an environmental resource management program. And that's when I'd found out that there are soil and water districts from just visiting. They talked about there were soil and water offices that do a lot of the duties I was speaking of with agricultural, largely agricultural. And through that curriculum, you take surveying, soils information, hydrology, and all those topics that help with being a technician in soil and water. So at that point, I needed to do a practicum. The school is in Worcester, and I was trying to find a place to do a practicum, and I was going to try to do it at the Worcester Soil and Water because it would have been close to school, but the person I spoke to there said, well, why don't you go talk to Richland County? Since you live in Mansfield, that'd be closer for you. So I did, and that's how I got involved in soil and water here the first time, and just did a 3-month practicum through the summer. And then I came back the next year, needed to do an internship, and since I'd already been here, I spoke to him again and got an internship with soil and water through the summer. And then later I came back, I ended up working in Crawford County for a year and a half when I got out of college. And then Richland County had an opening, so that's when I came back to Richland County to start as an agricultural technician. But that was what mainly drew me to soil and water, was the fit, what I was looking for, work in the environment and feel like a job that helps the environment. So I thought helping with erosion, manure management, it was a good way to do that. And it's nice because I also got to be outside a lot, and it appealed to me to be able to do surveying and go to different parts of the county. It wasn't monotonous. So that was another thing that really drew me to soil and water. At first I would have said ag, and I never would have wanted to do urban. And then once I kind of got forced into doing urban, after a while I didn't mind doing urban, and I kind of, maybe it ran its course and I did enough ag to kind of feel like I had done that and wanted to do something different. So later it kind of appealed to me to do some of the urban. So yeah, I guess both. But yeah, if you would have asked me when I started, I would have said ag right away, but then it kind of changed over years. And as far as accomplishments at Soil and Water, I felt like the accomplishment is, as mentioning earlier, working with doing the grassed waterways and practices in the county. When I drive through the county, I see a lot of them, especially grassed waterways. They're still there that I designed and installed, and still there and still apparently working, protecting the soil from getting washed away. So that's kind of a neat thing to see those, that they're still there and doing their job. Some of them, they're harder to see, but some of them, manure storage, you don't really see those a lot from the road. They're typically back amongst the farm buildings. A lot of those are there that I would have designed and put in. The other accomplishments would be when I was here, within the last 5 years that I was here, we had done a revamp and relaunch of our website and improved a lot. We added a lot more interactive things. So like I did a lot of work on the watershed map in the county, that interactive watershed map. I'd worked with the website developer to put all that together. We also had the app, it's called I Have a Project, and you run through the questions on that. So I worked a lot with those guys to develop that. to help people understand what they need when they came in for a stormwater permit. A lot of people would come in and be a little confused on what they're even doing there, but that I felt helped people get all their ducks in a row before they came in. I also was able to become a certified floodplain manager, and I was the floodplain manager for the county for quite a few years. I developed a lot of the maps that are in the office. I actually developed one of the maps that's in the room we're in now. I just developed that for anybody else's benefit, but just to see where all the different counties, and it's still in this room on the wall there, which is kind of neat to see it's still here. And one of the other things when I come back here, I'm kind of proud to see is the soil profile display in the hallway before you come up to the office. That I built. So we went out and collected the soil cores, and I prepared them and preserved them and put them in those boxes, and then developed like the display and everything for that. And it's kind of neat to see that it's still here and looks pretty much the same as when we built it. Changes in the soil and water over the years, there was quite a bit. Like when I first started, we had just started, we'd had another technician that was just starting the stormwater program. Before that, I believe the county engineer's office was running it. And so then Soil and Water took it over. I was starting as an ag technician, and I did mostly ag. Stormwater program's just getting going. A lot more basic than what it is today. The stormwater program really took off with EPA has more requirements, and then just in the county itself changed their regulations, updated them to be more concerned or just have a better understanding or better control over the erosion coming off of those practices. So the stormwater program grew quite a bit within the time I was here. And just in staff, there were a lot of changes I think we had the big recession around 2007, 2008. At that time, before that, we had staff around 7 people, and it ended up getting reduced to just 2 of us. We went that way for a while, running the stormwater program and not doing so much ag. So that was probably the part where we got away from ag a lot just for manpower. We couldn't really go into that, but we still ran the stormwater program. And then eventually we got to rebuild back and see the changes. And at that point, the district was a little different. We focused on different priorities and went into more of a marketing, public path than we did before, which was more appropriate, I think, with the time.